Hey, what is up guys? My name is Oleg, this is Bond. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to do a full review of Phoibos Sentinel. Phoibos Sentinel is the newest Phoebus model. The watch has an original-ish design. It's as if a bell&ross watch and a Panerai had a baby. This Phoebus would be the byproduct of that. Not necessarily a bad thing, just something that I noticed about this watch. So the watch is offered at $350 currently on their website. The watch has a solid set of specs and a very unique look. Is it any good? Is it bad? Well, let's get into the review. Let's start the review by talking about the case dimensions and the case finishes and the case shape itself. So the watch has a 42mm diameter, although it does wear larger, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes or so. The distance between one lug and another is 51mm. The lug width is 22mm and the thickness is only 12mm. The watch is using miyota 9015 automatic movement, hackable, hand windable, 42 hours of power reserve, 28,800 beats per hour. It's a very reliable movement, in my opinion, a much better alternative to the usual Seiko NH35 that you will find with a lot of micro brands in this price point. So that's why they were able to get the case thickness to be 12mm, because miyota is a thinner movement than the Seiko NH35, and I think that was a perfect choice for this watch, because if the watch was thicker it would be way too chunky on the wrist. It already wears larger than the 42mm case diameter would suggest. You have to have a pretty large wrist to pull off this watch. To be honest with you, on my wrist it looks alright, but I would prefer to be a bit smaller. I think it wears so large because of that unique case shape. So the case has a lot of sharp angles. It's all finished with the sandblast, really nicely finished, I might add. The sandblasting is done really well. The quality of the steel itself seems to be higher than previous Phoebus models. Phoebus continues to impress me with their finishes and the quality of their timepieces. There's a crown in the 3 o'clock position. The thread on the crown and the knurling on the crown is really good. It's really easy to operate this crown, to unscrew it and to screw it back into place. I've complimented Phoebus watches on this before, and this watch is no exception. It's just butter smooth operating that crown, and the crown is actually loomed even. First time I see that in a watch. The watch has a screw down Caseback, giving it 200 meters of water resistance, and the watch does come with the Zulu strap, so you could technically go diving with this watch. And of course the screw down crown helps with the water resistance, so technically you could use this watch as a diver watch, although it doesn't have the diver bezel. Coming back to the Caseback, it looks fantastic. There's a lot of detail and a lot of work has gone into designing this Caseback. You can tell that right away. Even running my finger through this engraving, it feels really good. It feels like a quality item in your hand. So the engraving at the back is not the usual octopus as we would expect. We have the wings, we have the anchor, we have a shield, what looks like a sword and a musket. So a whole bunch of different things mashed into one, and I think that perfectly represents what this watch really stands for, because it's not really a pilot's watch, although it could be used as a pilot watch. It's not really a field watch or a military watch, but it could be used as that. It's not really a diver watch or a marine watch, but it still could be used as that because it has the 200 meters of water resistance. So it's kind of a mash of a few different watches all into one. The legibility on the watch is fantastic. You can tell what time it is at one glance from far away distances, partly due to this amazing green dial and the contrast between the green dial and the painted on indices, and partly due to the design of the watch. There's pretty much no bezel around the dial if you look by 9 o'clock and the 3 o'clock. So the dial takes up pretty much the whole 42mm, and that's why the watch does appear so large. While we're on the subject of legibility, let's talk about the lume on the watch, and it's fantastic. They applied quite a few layers of it. It lasts all night long. It's very bright, very legible, no complaints there at all. Quite a bit of detail on this dial, so it has kind of a grainy finish to it, and the Phoebus logo, automatic, and all the indices are printed on, and they did a pretty good job with the printing. It looks amazing. I do like the set of hands that they chose for the watch, kind of a sword style hands, very big, very chunky, again helping with that legibility. Looking at this dial, there are two things that I would really change. Number one, I would probably shrink the Phoebus logo by about 50% or so, make it quite a bit smaller. Maybe it's not going to look right on this dial because the dial is so large, but I think the Phoebus logo is very prominent, and in an unboxing video for this watch quite a few of you complained about that. So maybe shrink the Phoebus logo, or maybe even just write Phoebus instead of the logo. I think I would play around with those design options and see how that would look. The second thing I would do is actually get rid of that date between the 5 and the 4. I know some of you like the date, and to be honest, I don't really mind it that much, but I think getting rid of the date altogether would improve the look of the watch. If we can talk about the date window for a minute here, I like that they went with kind of a creamy finish to the date wheel. It kind of gives off almost a silver tone to match the case, and I do appreciate those small details. So well done, Phoebus. But again, I would prefer no date at all. The watch does feature a flat piece of sapphire crystal, as we would expect from a Phoebus in this price range, and it also comes on this excellent leather strap. I really like this leather strap. It's thick, it's comfortable, it matches the look of the watch really well. I like the white stitching on it, the color matches the dial really well. Everything about this strap works except for one thing: it lacks quick release pins. If you watched my video about 7 trends that I wish would stay in 2018, I talked about this, and I talked about the fact that I hate leather straps that don't have quick release pins. Now, somebody in the comment section did point out that maybe the quick release pins don't work for all types of leather straps, and maybe that's the case, but I do wish that this watch had quick release pins, because it would make changing between this leather strap and the supplied Zulu strap very easy. So to sum it up, I really do like this watch. The quality and the specs are fantastic. The finishes on the watch are outstanding. For $350, being able to buy a watch like this, of this quality and with this set of specs, is amazing. I think Phoebus and a lot of these micro brands have really spoiled us. I do have some negatives, as I mentioned already, some dial issues, like the logo being a little bit too large, and maybe replace the logo with the Phoebus text, but that's just a personal preference. The fact that I don't really like the date window, I wish it didn't have the date window. The fact that the leather strap doesn't have quick release pins, and finally that the watch does wear very large, and it only comes in one size. It only comes in 42 millimeters. So if you like watches that wear large, you will love this watch. But if you don't like watches that wear large, or if you have smaller size wrists, this watch is probably not for you. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Phoebus watch. Are you picking one up? Are you skipping it? Are there any other alternatives that look similar, that have the same legibility in this price range? Leave all those thoughts below. I always enjoy reading your comments. By the way, today on my wrist I'm wearing Zilos Mako. I just did an unboxing of this bronze dagger watch with 500 meters of water resistance. Now I have it on a rubber strap because I want to test out the water resistance, and I also want to see how well the watch will patina in the next few weeks before the full review. In the description of this video there is a secret link. Check it out if you want to. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.